following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour on this, TFNN.com. I am your host, David White. We come to you each trading day between 2 and 3 Eastern Time. And it is always a great day. On Fridays, I come into the mega office, the world headquarters of TFNN, and sit in studio. The other 4 days, I do it from my palatial mansion in Tampa. But we'll have a good day today, even with a kind of a mild market out here today. It is, what can you say? Just not a lot of juice. Off 1.5 points on the S&P cash, not even breaking 1.5 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange tape. So we are seeing basically no action at all. I can hear the crickets on the New York Stock Exchange floor. And what else can you say? It is what it is. It's a midsummer day. Not a lot of issues pushing it. Of course, not a lot of people wanting to get long in front of a weekend where there's lots of geopolitical events going on. Of course, any day you could see a major change in Iraq. Also, in the Eurozone, Ukraine and the Euro nations have given Russia an ultimatum basically to get out. And we could see the ceasefire evaporate on June 30th. So coming back in on Monday, we could start seeing a shooting war fairly quickly. But basically telling Russia to get out of the border checkpoints. We'll see whether Putin blinks or not. But basically a lot more threats about economic sanctions for Russia. I don't know if it'll do any good. But I think we'll get our answer on Monday. But a lot of indecision in the marketplace. Like I said yesterday, any kind of little pullback into this market is going to probably be enough to finish some sell signals that I've been watching on a great deal of stocks in the marketplace. So we'll be watching Monday, Tuesday out here. I certainly, I've got a couple of positions out here. And interestingly enough, I was looking for 2 million shares on one. And last I looked, it was kind of pressing highs. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at this one here just to see. Anyway, I was looking for, maybe 2 million shares to break a high. 500,000 shares today. So today is not going to be the day that we get any kind of mass signal unless it's in the last 30 minutes of the show, or the day, actually, trading day, not the show. But a lot of stocks hanging up here with almost no volume, and we'll have to get into that. We got a few stocks that are moving, but this is always a great day to call me. Always a bad day to email me because my email computer is at home. So give me a ring at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. I always get a few people that email me on Friday for some reason, and I never really get to them because, of course, by Monday it's we've all moved on. So just make sure this is the day you really need to ring me up or post a message in the den. But, of course, very little movement out here in a 1 or 2 point range, and we will look at that today. Of other things of note, when we walked in today, we found several things going on. That is Barclays having most of its major customers vamoose and leave. It has been alleged by the New York Attorney General basically that all the bad stuff that you can remember from about 1997. Front-running, privilege, buying things after hours, just about everything that they had alleged bad had happened in the markets. People and doing bad things is alleged against Barclays' high-frequency trader system. And I think maybe that's a little bit of it. We've got the Russell rebalancing. Of course, Monday, we've been talking about this all week. You will see the final numbers on it. But if volume is any indication today, that's not a factor. So I'm more thinking that the light volume and lack of action is a lot of indecision going into geopolitical events that we will see probably this weekend or Monday resolving themselves. Of course, next week is a short week. Well, actually, yeah, no, it's a long week, but it goes into a 4th of July weekend. I suspect we'll probably start seeing light volume on Thursday, not just Friday like we've seen today. And as we start looking at that, it will be very interesting. So, as we start off the day today, we will start looking at some stocks. Probably we're going to have a little bit more time out here. I wanted to see how some of these energy stocks had been sitting and testing highs. One of the stocks I had been looking at was ATO, which is Atmos Energy Corporation, ATO. This one is up against the $53.02 high from May 8th. We're seeing that come in with yesterday with 480,000 shares, a little bit above the 9-day still on this. So I'm thinking a lot of these probably are not going to confirm a top if we're going to get one until probably Monday. We come back and start seeing a little bit of volume. Almost all these energy stocks looking extremely toppy in the market. There's also some other things going on out here. What do we have? GMCR. Look at a few of the stocks that are actually moving. GMCR. Upgraded to buy from a hold, and up about 3%, up at $125. Again, still these have tested previous highs, lighter volume in the case of Green Mountain. This one certainly looks like a high possibility of distribution. You've had about 3 or 4 days here where this thing went sideways, down a little yesterday, a little up today, but not a lot of volume. What we're really keying off on this one is the May 13th high, 123.62, 11 million shares. Tried to break through it with 5.5 million shares, and since we didn't have any juice, pretty much has gone sideways since still. Nike had earnings out last night and actually was up a little stronger. Let's take a look at it. And it beat quarterly EPSs by 3 cents, 78 cents versus 75 cents. And it's just now coming back and filling this gap. That gap was on March 21st. Came down with huge volume, 15.8 million shares. So as we get back into this gap today, and fill the gap, 5.9 million shares. So probably a lot of people that were in that stock just pretty happy to be getting their cash back today on it. And again, energy, I've seen a lot bigger, on earnings, kind of surprised to see that you can't really see a lot of shorts in this being quickly frozen out of that particular trade, which is a good example, and this is a great example on earnings for what I'm seeing in a broader market, which is you have a high volume down day to set up this whole trading back in that March 31st. We see this gap down with high volume. You do gap up on earnings. It is a couple bucks. It's not the end of the world for shorts. But at the same time, with all the light volume, normally you can either run these a lot farther and or you get a lot of people to capitulate on the short side. I didn't look at I think this was just a few days to cover, but generally on a light volume market like today, the shorts just throw in the towel. And you would get the kind of volume that you would think would really make a difference, which I do not see today. But that's pretty much it. We've got a lot of shorts in the marketplace. These shorts are the longer-term guys with big pockets. They aren't the retail trader, at least I don't think they are. And the reason I know is that they're not getting real frosty or froggy every time it looks like that they're starting to get a little bit of push in the marketplace. I think we've got the retail trader probably either sitting on the sidelines or with a few longs, but for the most part not incredibly active over the last week or 10 days. And that really means that we don't have a lot of shorts to squeeze when we do go higher. As I said before, if you're short this or another stock, I'm not just seeing the huge blowout moves where a lot of retail traders were short a particular stock. And I think that's very telling. I think that does tell you you have a market that at best is evenly matched between the bulls and the bears at this level. And most of these shorts that are left are probably not going to be giving up too easily. Of course, after the bell last night, we also had a DuPont come out, and they were down 4%. This is a lot bigger issue, and you can see a lot more volume back into some of these stocks. This one had challenged its previous high, that back on April 4th with 4.2 million shares, with 3.5 million shares on June 9th. And, of course, not enough juice, not enough energy to hold this stock at higher prices. We went sideways, and, of course, a huge signal today and a sign of weakness with a big gap down, a big candle, and big volume. So all the things we look for, the trifecta of weakness out here, gaps, candles, and volume. As we look at it, about what else do we have out here? There are a few others. EGO. Let's take a quick look at that one before we go to break. Got just enough time. Got a positive environmental impact association for the Ministry of Environment and Urbanization of Turkey. And put a little juice in this. You'd really like to have seen this thing hold its high from this morning. It's also going against the March 14th high, $7.49, 6.1 million shares. We had 6.5. You'd really want this thing to hold a higher high out here as we get out here. And not getting it. Maybe you get that volume Monday. Maybe a lot of people just nervous to come back in. You also have a long-term gap that's been open for a long time. That gap goes back to September 19th of 2013. It's got a lot of volume when you go back into it. That's 22.3 million shares on 9/20 of 2013, and that's probably why we're seeing a little bit of resistance, even though we've got decent volume on EGO, is that gap asking or looking at resistance levels. And a few people wanting to get their cash back that bought back here at the 749 high on March 14th. So we'll be back in just a minute. Make sure and give me a call at 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Come back. We've got a S&P that's off 1.58 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange consolidated tape. When we look at a little bit of commodities, we've got crude at 105.61. Dollar index is off 18 cents at $80.09.5. Gold up $2.50. Platinum up 9. What do we have? Silver here off 3 cents. Not a big deal. So a very quiet Friday for the most part. Probably a little troubling out here would be that dollar index. If you're thinking that the market has topped, you'd like to see that come back down. Got a couple of questions in the den about some various stocks. Netflix for one. When I look at Netflix, we look at this last major high on March 6th. As we come back into it, we're about $8 shy of it. 2.6 million shares on that high. Now, we got to $450 with 4.1 million shares. So decent volume in that high. Now, probably the overwhelming probability is that $458 high is going to get tested. And, with a stock like this, it doesn't take any more than 30 minutes till you go up there, tag it, and then come back down. So if we're looking for a high in here, we could certainly see it. But what you're going to need is extremely light volume. Now, the last few days basically show that we're coming back into this small gap up that happened on the 17th of June with 4.1 million shares. So the last few days, we've we've kind of tagged that gap with 2.2 million shares, 2 million shares, and 1.1 million shares today. So I don't think it would be a big deal out here for this thing to take a little run up to 458. Maybe you have it all in one day. Maybe you start seeing the sellers come back in if you're looking for a top in this. The other stock that someone was asking about, ISRG. Intuitive Surgical, ISRG. Again, you can always call me with your stock. With, at 877-927-6648. Got trying to do just too many things at one time. Now, Intuitive Surgical, much better looking stock out here when we come and figure out whether it's giving us a signal today. And that is, it is finishing this huge gap down. And that gap down happened on, what is that? Let's zoom in here just a little closer. That gap down, get just a little bit better. Here we go. On, what is that, April 23rd, this thing you gap down with 2.2 million shares. We're coming back up and finishing the filling of that gap with 410,000 shares so far today on ISRG. Of course, you really have never tested this low back here at 346 on May 9th either. This thing has just come back up, filled the gap. Question is whether or not this is a bigger ABC down. If it was an ABC down and a one-to-one, we can pretty much look at the expansion on it. So give me just a second here. There we go. Now this is right back. It's filled the gap. We've seen the volume shrink to 25% of that gap down back here on the 23rd. As we come back into this, we've had a retracement of just about 40% in the of that A to B leg. So you've got your 3-1. Maybe you get a little bit more out of this, but what you do have set up now is a monster ABC down in Intuitive Surgical. Just a one-to-one on this would take you to $230. So you have to be very sure if you want to be long on this one, because it wouldn't take a whole lot to find this thing back at that 346 low from May 9th. And we'd be into that. But certainly for anybody new out here, an ABC in this would be a monster. So you want to look at the April 3rd high out here at 541. That'd be your A point. Your B point would come in on May 9th at 346. And if this is the top of this gap, then we are looking at 424.89. Now again, maybe you go back out here into the top of this candle that did form this gap. But, I mean, you're right at the bottom of it. So the risk-reward probably doesn't get any better if you're bearish on it. Now, the other thing is, did we see any kind of real energy coming into ISRG off this low on May 9th? And the answer is not really. It's been a fairly light volume move. And when we were talking about signs of strength, was there a big candle with lots of volume on the way up? No. It's a light volume pull all the way back. So I would say for a textbook pattern out here for ABC downs, Fibonacci retracements, you're probably fairly decent point on this. And you'd want to see, of course, the filling of this gap, a little bit more volume. And, of course, we are so low, 2.2 million shares to 400,000 shares today, that it just doesn't make a great deal of sense. So I tell you what, I'm going to look very hard at Intuitive Surgical on Monday. This may be a great short opportunity, but it's such a news-driven stock. It's hard to try this. So we will keep an eye on that. Again, if you have any questions, you can post them in the den and or call me at 877-927-6648. Some other stocks of interest that are making highs on almost no volume are stocks like Dish Network. This one's going back into the high of the April 3rd, $64.52 high, 15 million shares on that day. And what do we have today? 1.4 million shares. This is incredibly light volume moves on this. Now, you want a close below that April 3rd high at 64.52. Probably not going to get it today. Doesn't look like it. Maybe we will. But even that pullback back underneath it is exactly what you need to complete your sell signal. Now, there is probably a reason why I would not short this stock at this time, and that is that the energy coming back up on my power law vector indicator number was about the same volume on the way down. But certainly we're seeing strong stocks top out and weak stocks really getting set up for a move down. Edison International, EIX, is another one of these stocks we've been looking at here over the last couple of days. You wanted to see this volume from the April 30th high with $57.70, 3.4 million shares, and it got tested with 2.7 million shares, of course. So we're probably fairly topped out. Another one of these, though, where the energy down to this May 21st low and then back up to this high. Not all the difference between the April 30th high back down to this May 21st low. So one of these stocks that more looks like it's topped out than a short opportunity. Green Plains Renewable Energy. A great deal of these stocks here that we're looking at today are these that look like they've topped out, but probably not short candidates. We'll get it. There's a couple more that look a little bit better we'll get into later in the show. But just so many of these stocks, light volume tests. When we look at Green Plains, the symbol is GPRE. The April 2nd high, $32.60 with 1.4 million shares. And we get into that today with 477,000 shares so far. So, you know, you've got any close below, let's say, a 9-day moving average, any close below these previous highs, probably a pretty good indication that you've got just about everything that you're going to get out of these stocks. Now, next Era Energy, another one of these that had and did come up on high decent energy, we'll call it, but up at these highs without the kind of energy to actually break out. On NEE, we're looking at the April 30th high. That April 30th high was at 101.50 with 4.3 million shares. So the last few days, what do we get in volume? 2.7 million shares, 1.9 million shares, and today 1.3 million shares. So a very tough day out here to see that these stocks are going any higher without any energy, even the ones that look great. Now, one of the ones that you would think was ready for a breakout would be Six Flags. We're going to look at this a little bit more as we come back from the break. But it is going to be, you know, just that light volume high out here. But even Six Flags, with all the people headed for the theme parks of the summer, you'd think would have a little bit higher volume. Okay. Are we not going to break? Okay. Good enough. I just wanted to see whether or not it's gone. Oh, there it is. I didn't see that. Sorry about that. Six Flags Entertainment. Of course, when we look at this, I'm really keying off this $42.94 high at 1 million shares from March 18th. We've gotten into it for the last few days in the best 750,000 shares. So we're probably going to need at least a little back and fill. Again, when we look at the energy down from the last leg to the up leg, still not one of these stocks that looks like it's ready to break. We did talk about Sonic on Tuesday also. And this one was a much, much bigger signal. And I think we've got the confirmation today as it is going to close below the 9-day moving average. But we talked about these high volume highs being tested and with no volume. Sonic gapped up, of course, yesterday. We're looking at the March 26th high at $23.56, 3.9 million shares. We came into it with basically 750,000 shares yesterday. And, of course, any kind of price and volume trader out here knows that you're going to get wimpy volume into high volume high. You're looking for trouble, and it didn't take long to reverse yesterday. And the close back down below here on the 9-day moving average or a 3-day moving average is all you needed. Sonic probably going to head back down to this gap around $19.75. But we'll be back in just a minute.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
But of course, downgrade is probably, from Wells Fargo, is probably related to Google getting in this business and look at probably seeing margins much lower. But not a bad looking stock. In fact, I probably should have thought of this one when I saw that Google news and didn't. But you had 2 days out here under the 9-day moving average where you would have thought maybe of shorting this based on the news. And it's going to be tougher, but I expect this thing to come back down and eventually test that low, which happened on November 30th of 2012 at $32.81. This news is probably not going to get any better for this company anytime soon. And made a good signal up here that it was ready for a high. And any break of that 9-day moving average can have you short back of this stock any time. See, what else do we have out here? ISIS. And we're not talking about the terrorists, although they may need to change their symbol out here. I don't know if you want to be ISIS anymore with the terrorists picking up that name. But certainly this one is creeping under the 9-day moving average, so you want to keep this. ISIS Pharmaceuticals. Probably going to get a close under that 9-day moving average today, making it a little bit vulnerable for a pullback. Basically you've got a stock that really hasn't given a decent signal, but you still haven't tested the $22.25 low out here. And if I remember right, you had basically this last big low went through this August 28th of 2013 low with higher volume, and you really need to get a retest back down here around this $22.25 range. So might want to look at that one too if you're into shorting pharmaceuticals. I'm not one to, but you can do it. We'll be back in just a minute. See you then.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days, unconditionally, so there's no risk to you, other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
As we come back, had a few people in the den bring up some other stocks. BBIB, that's BIIB, Biogen IDEC, and I'm not exactly sure. You know, you've got a stock that's just kind of tailing out here. It looks to me like it come back into this gap area at about $300 one more time. I don't see a great deal of it. I think that the bigger biotech market is extremely nervous and weak at the moment, so I would not be surprised to see this pullback. But again, I think probably what you really are looking for right now in a lot of these stocks, if we're going to get a pullback, is a close below the 9-day moving average on a lot of these. And probably going to happen Monday or Tuesday, I think. It's kind of hard to see a market with just no volume. Maybe it closes a point or two higher. But to me, there's just too many world events swirling around right now where you could see massive weakness in a minute, and this time buyers staying away. Now, we're off 2.5 points, something like that, on the S&P cash. Not a lot of volume, and there's two stories. The story that you don't want to be short a quiet market, but there's also a point where if you get up to highs and you can't find those people shorting stocks blinking, then you got some pretty strong shorts on that side, or you've got no shorts on that side. You should be able, even on light volume, to get a few people to blink, and maybe we've got a few people blinking. But to me, we've pushed up to those highs into the 1966 area, and really what we're looking for is a move back down to the 1938 level on the S&P cash. And that's going to tell us whether or not that 1938 is going to hold or not. If it does, then probably going to bounce back up to 1965. I personally think that this market is extremely weak, and we're seeing distribution with the light volume. They can hold this market up. But any kind of decent volume is probably going to drive this market down. I think that volume is probably going to be after the 4th of July weekend. I thought maybe we'd get a little bit more push, so I have been nibbling around short positions, and I wanted to have a couple just in case the world blew up. I know that maybe on a $90 stock, maybe I'll lose $1 or $1.50 or $2. But as long as we've got these stocks with 4 or 5 million share highs being tested with 500,000 shares, I'm not really worried about any kind of upside to these stocks. At worst, I'm probably going to break even or maybe lose $1 or so. On the 25 to 30% chance that we wake up and see a headline in the press that's horrible, I think we could see some very high strengths down. Part of that is that we weren't able to go back and push back up to the highs, even on light volume for this close today. But just so many other stocks that I see testing highs with light volume. Now, a great deal more of these stocks I have in my newsletter over the last week or so are coming up in these last legs with very weak volume, and those are the ones I'm going to probably be looking at the strongest for shorts over the next week. Now, it may break. The market is fairly weak. It may break far beyond or far sooner than that 4th of July or 5th of July when we come back. But I'm thinking that the market thought it could get back into it. Some of the other things that I find extremely troubling are the gambling that is going on with GoPro today. Probably a fairly good sign also to find people bouncing these IPOs around. And of course, when we look in the biotech sector today, 5 IPOs couldn't get out the door. So we'll talk more about that tonight in the Tech Insider. But we'll see you then at 4:25 with Tom O'Brien. And see you next Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.